Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to do a Finnish missile boat. This is the Hamina-class. I'm sort of spitballing on the name of it. The Scandinavian names have thrown me off and do throw me off a lot, but this is what we're going to do today. It's been recommended in comments and on the Discord, and so I figured I would give it a look. You all know I love weapon detective stuff, so let's jump into it.
The Hamina-class of the Finnish Navy is the most capable missile boat of today. These multi-role vessels can conduct anti-surface, anti-submarine, and anti-air warfare missions effectively. Designed according to the specific needs of Finland, they differ significantly from many of their counterparts in the world. As the weapon detective, we are investigating the Hamina-class, the defender of the Finnish coasts. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel before we start, and give us a thumbs up if you like our video. To be notified of our new video, please click the bell button. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel.
That almost looked like a cruise ship there in the background.
In terms of its capabilities, the Hamina-class is a miniaturized corvette rather than a missile boat. It is one of the best littoral warfare vessels. The Hamina-class is the latest representative of the Finnish fast attack craft design tradition. To better understand this boat, let's take a look at the history of this tradition. After the Second World War, the Western policymakers had seen the geopolitical importance of this country, but their countries were war-weary. So, Helsinki realized that it could not trust the Western support in a possible Soviet invasion. On the other hand, the stubborn and skillful Finnish troops had allowed only one previous victory to the mighty Red Army in the Winter War. So, Stalin did not want to repeat this humiliating experience.
Yeah, and we've talked about the Winter War. We've done a couple of videos on the Winter War. It's probably one of my favorite more modern conflicts, just because I like an underdog story. It's something that just personally kind of pulls at my heartstrings. And Finland is obviously kind of the ultimate underdog there when trying to push back the Soviets. So if you haven't seen any of the videos that we've done on that, go check them out. And I'm going to find some others. That's something I haven't covered in a while. So really cool conflict to study, and Finland really holds their own well, far better than anybody anticipated at the time, certainly far better than the Soviets anticipated. And it not only puts a spotlight on the Soviets and kind of shows, I don't know, I don't want to say that they suck, but it does not put them in a good light. But then on the other side of that, it becomes sort of like a rallying cry for not specifically or not just like the Scandinavian countries, but for some of these smaller countries around the European region that are just getting picked off left and right by either the Soviets or the Germans. Finland holds their own. And so it kind of shows like, okay, this can be done. And it can be done domestically with at least mostly domestic forces.
Besides, a neutral Helsinki with good relations with the Soviet Union was a preferable option for Moscow. Thus, Finland would turn into a buffer zone with the West, and many Soviet troops could be redeployed from the Leningrad military district to Central Europe. Keeping Finland as a neutral country was the best solution for both sides. The 1947 Paris peace treaties limited the Finnish Navy to a fleet of no more than 10,000 tons and 4,500 men. Also, this naval force would not have offensive weapons such as torpedoes, submarines, mines, and missiles. To keep the balance, in the beginning, Finland bought vessels from both the Western and Eastern blocs. After a while, it began to design and build some naval ships domestically. Helsinki managed to convince both sides of its neutrality. In the 1960s, the Finnish Navy was allowed to have missiles and mines. In 1968, Finland initially laid down Isku as a training vessel. She was commissioned 2 years later. Isku had 4 P-15 Thermit anti-ship missiles, whose NATO reporting name is SSN-2 Styx. After trials, the Finnish Navy decided to acquire the Asa-2 class missile boats from the USSR.
Those look wild. The ship looks wild.
4 vessels, which had been equipped with locally developed electronics, were commissioned between 1974 and 1975. Initially, Finland had planned to procure 5 additional Asa-2s defined as Tuima-class in this country. But in 1976, Helsinki decided to design and build indigenous missile boats. So Finland ordered 4 Helsinki-class missile boats in 1978. 4 vessels of this class were commissioned between 1981 and 1986. Different from the Tuima class, which had P-15 missiles, the Helsinki class was equipped with the RBS-15 missiles. By using the experience from these boats, Finland began to work on the Rauma class in 1987. These new vessels would be equipped with the water jet propulsion system, which provides good maneuverability and can operate in very shallow waters. Also, they would be designed to reduce their magnetic, thermal, radar, and acoustic signatures. With the Rauma class, the Finnish shipyards gained the capability of designing and building modern missile boats. 4 vessels of this class were commissioned between 1990 and 1992. As the next step, the Finnish Navy initiated the Squadron 2000 program. Initially, Finland considered commissioning 2 Hamina-class vessels and 4 Tuuli-class hovercrafts.
The last 2 I think that they've showed have looked more normal, whereas with that initial one that they showed, the launchers literally what it looked like was that they had the idea of putting 4 anti-ship missiles, out on the water, and they were like, okay, we're going to put them, build something around it that can float and hold these things. It literally looked like just a giant floating, platoon of anti-ship missiles. The last couple have actually looked more like, ships.
After a while, the Finnish Navy abandoned the building program of the Tuuli-class hovercraft, which would have the Imkondu air defense missile. So, it increased the number of the Hamina class to 4.
Wait, what was that? What did they just call that? Somebody let me know what that one was that they just showed.
Now, these boats would be equipped with the Imkondus. The first vessel of this class, FNS Hamina, was commissioned in 1998. Until 2006, the Finnish Navy commissioned 3 other Hamina-class boats. All of them were built by Aika Yards Oy. The Hamina class has a stealth design. The hull is made of aluminum and the superstructure is carbon fiber reinforced composite. Using extensive composite materials also helped reduce the displacement of the boat. The metal parts are coated with radar absorbing material. To further reduce radar cross-section, the missiles are positioned inside the boat. Except for the bridge, there are no windows on the vessel and there are conductive sealings on the door and hatches to prevent electromagnetic leakage. The exhaust gas of the propulsion system can be directed either below the surface to minimize thermal signature or above the surface to reduce acoustic signature. The water jets of the Hamina class, which provides good maneuverability and can operate in very shallow waters, also reduce the acoustic and electromagnetic signature. To further reduce the noise level, the main machinery is placed onto resilient mountings. The Hamina class can be operated in the CBRN environment. According to the official data of the Finnish Navy, the complement of the Hamina class is 27 persons. The boat has a length of 51 meters, a beam of 8 meters, and a draught of 2 meters. Its fully loaded displacement is 250 tons. The propulsion system of the vessel consists of 2 3,750 horsepower MTU 16V 538 TB93 diesel engines and 2 Kamewa 90S2 water jets. Its maximum speed is 30 knots. The range is 925 kilometers. The Hamina class has 4 RBS-15 anti-ship missiles, 8 Imkondu air defense missiles, one 57mm SAK Mark III gun, and two 12.7mm NCV machine guns. It can be equipped with depth charges and it can lay sea mines.
Okay, one 8-cell vertical launching system. What's the, I don't know how to pronounce that, Umkoto air defense missiles? I don't believe I've ever come across them before, but I was curious whether it had a vertical launch system on it or not. Some of the new ships, the Zumwalt class, we've covered the, what was it? The Corvette for the Swedish Navy, and then this, the designs of them, the new looking designs of them are really, really pretty incredible looking. Like viewing them from the outside, they look almost like a spaceship or something.
Now, the Hamina-class boats are being modernized by Patria. We will mention the changes one by one when we introduce the electronics and weapon systems. The C-band TRS-3D phased array surveillance radar of the Hamina-class has a range of up to 200 kilometers. It can track 750 targets. This radar can also perform the weapon control function at a range of 21 kilometers. Yet, the weapon systems are controlled by the Ku-band Ceros 200 radar and optronic tracking fire control director. The TRS-3Ds and Ceros 200s of the vessels are now being updated within the ongoing modernization works. Also, the Atlas ANCS 2000 combat management system of the Hamina class is being replaced with the Saab 9LV combat management system. The Hamina class can perform anti-submarine warfare missions in shallow waters thanks to the Toadfish high-frequency active sonar and the Sonac PTA low-frequency towed sonar. The Kongsberg ST-2400 is replacing the Sonac PTA towed sonar. These boats are equipped with the multi-ammunition soft kill system, shortly MAS, for self-defense system. The MAS can protect the vessel from anti-ship missile attacks by launching decoys that operate in all relevant wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum, such as ultraviolet, electro-optical, laser, infrared, and radar. The Hamina class were originally equipped with the RBS-15 Mark II anti-ship missiles, which was defined as MTO-85 by the Finnish Navy. The RBS-15 Mark II has an advanced guidance system which allows radar seeker to be used effectively even when the missile conducts HG evasive maneuvers. This version,
yeah, we just did a couple of videos over the RBS-15, previous versions of it, newer and upcoming versions of it. It really is, it's a pretty badass thing.
Has a composite fuselage which reduces the radar and infrared signature of the missile. The missile, which has a 200 kg high explosive blast and pre-fragmented warhead, can reach a range of 150 kilometers. The RBS-15 Mark IIs of the Hamina class are being replaced with the Gabriel 5 missiles, which has an advanced active multispectral seeker designed for cluttered littoral environments. Its range is more than 200 kilometers. Thanks to its GPS and INS navigation systems, the Gabriel 5 can be used against land targets.
By the way, real quick, we were having a conversation about this on the Discord. The U.S. is working on basically how to do smart munitions that have no GPS, and as far as I know, nothing to do with satellites in general. The basic idea being that it can be unreliable at times. You know, it just depends. It depends on where you are, depends on weather, depends on kind of a lot of stuff. The U.S. has been, at least as far as I know, they have been working on trying to find a way to move around this with a new kind of smart munition system that isn't reliant on GPS. Is there anywhere in the world that has come up with something like that up to this point? Does that technology exist, or is it still being worked on? If anybody knows, let me know.
The Imkondo IR air defense missile, which is designated as ITO 2004 by the Finnish Navy, can engage 8 targets simultaneously at a range of 14 kilometers. It has a maximum speed of Mach 2.2 and an effective altitude of 8,000 meters. The infrared guided missile, which has a 23 kilogram warhead, can perform 40G maneuvers. Initially,
Damn.
the Finnish Navy had planned equipping the Hamina-class boats with a 40mm gun. But later, these vessels were fitted with a 57mm SAK Mark III gun. This gun has a rate of fire of 200 rounds per minute and a maximum effective range of 17,000 meters. However, the current modernization program has caused some extra weight. To balance this weight, the Finnish Navy decided to replace the SAK Mark IIIs on these vessels with the lighter 40mm Mark IV guns. This gun, with a reaction time less than 0.5 seconds, can fire the 3P programmable airburst munitions. Also, the manually operated 12.7mm machine guns of the Hamina class are being replaced with the track-fire remote control weapon station of Saab.
Also, in one of the videos with the RBS-15, I had asked something along the lines of what some potential counters to this would be. We got into a big discussion on Discord about all different sorts of counters and you know, weapon systems or way that weapons that already exist could be sort of maneuvered to fit a different role. I got answers in the comment section. One of the most hilarious ones to me, seriously, this would be the most ironic and funny thing ever, was the idea that basically old school AA air burst munitions just in an amount that, or in a spread that could potentially work, could be like one of the answers. Now, I don't know how realistic that is. I could see I could see how there could potentially be some flaws in that. However, if that is the answer, like if you're able to get around these super sophisticated maneuverable in-flight missile systems that basically everybody is working on, right? If you're able to get around them by using essentially what is a really nice sophisticated version of like World War II AA gun airburst munitions, like, I don't know, something about that is just hilarious to me, that like no matter how far you go technologically with a weapon, you're basically using a shotgun blast to take it down.
2018, the restriction for the use of torpedoes was lifted for the Finnish Navy. So Finland decided to equip its Hamina-class boats with a Swedish-made anti-submarine warfare torpedoes. The modernized Hamina-class vessel, FNS Tornio, was delivered to the Finnish Navy in 2020. Why are the small missile boats so important for the Finnish Navy? Finland is a country with a small population in a vast area. The Finnish defense forces can defend the national sovereignty against a big enemy by using an asymmetric approach. A big surface combatant needs a huge crew. Due to its big draft, it cannot be operated in shallow waters easily. A frigate or destroyer is big, which means it is a big target. Also, it is expensive. A stealth missile boat can be operated by a small crew. The small surface combatant is a difficult target to detect and hit. Besides its low radar cross-section, it can hide behind the islets and rocks. A missile boat carries the same anti-ship missiles as the big surface combatants, so its offensive capability is the same. A country can have a large number of missile boats with the same money that they would have to spend on a single frigate or destroyer. Thus, it can defend a larger area. Many of the missile boats in the world do not have anti-submarine warfare capability. But the Hamina class can also hunt the submarines.
Seeing the way that certain countries are just able to, because every country has like a different defense doctrine or like set of issues or even like baseline just with like general population or size of the economy or something like that. Seeing the way that different countries are able to kind of fill these roles differently, the roles that they need for defense, is a super interesting part of this to me.
These boats can blockade the sea routes of an amphibious assault force or naval strike force by laying sea mines. Due to its limited human resource, Finland cannot win a possible war against a country with a huge army. During the 1939 Winter War, brave and skillful Finnish troops had become a nightmare for the Soviet army. But in the end, Finland, which didn't receive sufficient foreign support, had to accept the defeat. In a possible war, Finland cannot dominate the surrounding sea by itself against a big navy for a long time.
Yeah, and you have a lot of argument with the Winter War on how impactful certain things were, from the Mannerheim line to, there's a bunch of different stuff that's argued. But again, like I said earlier, they handle themselves really well. So well that the rest of the world kind of looks side-eyed at the Soviets like, you couldn't even smash Finland? Like, come on now. Like, that's how well they did.
But it can gain time for foreign support or daunt its enemy. The best instrument of this tactic is the missile boats. The biggest enemy of the missile boats is the aircraft and helicopters. But different from many counterparts in the world, the Hamina-class can also fight against them. Supported by coast artillery and missile batteries, as well as the Finnish Air Force, these small surface combatants are the biggest deterrent elements of the Finnish Navy. Of course, compared to the bigger surface combatants, the small size of the Hamina-class also brings some disadvantages like range and endurance. But please don't forget that this boat was designed for defensive purposes. The Finnish Navy does not plan to attack or blockade a country far away by using its Hamina-class boats.
Yeah, they need it to fill a role, which again is why that is interesting to me about how different countries are able to fill the roles that they need sufficiently. It's because, you would think like you want the biggest and best and all that, but in reality, that really isn't the case for most countries. They're needing very specific roles filled. And like he talked about with the size of something like a destroyer or something of that nature, it just, you're trying to do something very specific, and something bigger like that doesn't really help in the way that you might think it would. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Different jobs require different vessels. In the near future, Finland will commission the Pohjanmaa-class corvettes to support multinational overseas operations.
That looks awesome.
The Hamina-class is stealth. It can fight against ships, aircraft, and submarines. Thanks to the new Gabriel 5 missiles, these boats can also conduct land attacks. They are the naval systems which efficiently answer Finland's defensive requirements. With these features, the Hamina-class is currently one of the best missile boats in the world. Thanks for watching our video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you liked our video. To be notified of our new videos, please click the bell button. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel.
Yeah, as always, go support Weapon Detective. They do such a great job with these, and I absolutely love their videos. If you have any other weapon systems, platforms, anything like that, any other videos in general that you want me to get into, send them over. I'll put them on the list. I've got a pretty big list, but I promise I'll get to it. Like I said, I'm working on a couple of different videos to get out, continuing the series, a 30 Years War video, a handful of different things I'm looking at. So be on the lookout for that. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Help me keep building the channel over here, and I will see you all next time.